really don't have to introduce him. Thank you.
That's right.
But anyway, my wife's here, I'll introduce her. Right there. I almost forgot. It's only been 45 years. But anyway, so I'm trying to think of certain things. So I had a young man named Brad Smith that won a national title for me his senior year. He was the varsity the whole time though. And he was underachieving, and there's reasons why, and a lot of things happened his senior year, and he ended up winning the national title. I think it was one of the maybe very few tournaments that he ever won in 5 years, but or 4 years, but he wrestled varsity all the time. We had a kid this year from Iowa named Drew Foster, and you know, I don't think a lot of people thought he was going to win the championship as well, but he did. And there's reasons why that happens. And what's amazing about Jessie is that, and this is a tremendous lesson, is that you still are learning right up to the time of the moment that you are going to step on the mat for the event. A lot of things took place during that weekend. The coaching's still not done just when you go to the event and just you turn them loose. Things happen. And it just so happens that there was a good game plan that we put in place to win this national tournament, because we weren't favored actually to win. And you know, I think he had fourth in the Big Tens. But he bought in to the system of training for the last 2 weeks. And he got a chance to talk to the team, and he really liked the game plan that you're continuing to put together. He fell into that because he was going to score some points to help us win. He's going to score some points to help us win. Because he knew that he could win the first round. He knew he could win the second round. He knew he could win the third round because he was going to be seeded fifth. He got seeded sixth. Gave him too much credit. And so, you know, but the game plan was we needed bonus points. And so, when he was wrestling during the match, the score might not have been within bonus points until the last few seconds. And yet, because you had a good game plan, he said, I'm going to help the team get another point. And so two or three of the matches, I believe he scored them bonus points. And he was a pretty happy guy. He was a pretty happy guy. But we're into the semifinals now. And he, you know, I haven't even figured this out yet, but I'm trying to get him to have to beat somebody that has beaten him. And so all of a sudden, just out of the blue, I keep coaching, you know. And he had an issue sometimes. It was always towards the end of the match. He just kind of hung out and won, or hung out and lost. So all of a sudden, I said, wow. And the wow was, he did something that I've never seen done before. 3 times in a row, or 2 times in a row, whichever it was. And that means he scored towards the end of the match to get team bonus points. He's thinking about the team. He's not really thinking about himself, but he's going to help contribute. So all of a sudden I looked at in front of the team right there and I said, you just did something today that, you know, we've been trying to conquer with you all year. And he hadn't figured it out yet. And nobody else had figured it out. But, you know, a coach keeps coaching. You keep coming up with stuff. And I said, when did you score? He goes, what do you mean? I said, when was your last points in all 3 of those matches? He said, 7 seconds to go, 27 seconds to go, 15 seconds to go. And I said, when? And all of a sudden he looked at me and goes, whoa. Because we had rehearsed this before as far as, why don't you wrestle the entire match really hard? And, he wrestled the entire match in the semis. And because he wrestled the entire match, he won. And in the finals, he wrestled the entire match. And because of that, he utilized his talents and his abilities. And so you never really stop coaching. Sometimes you get a little lucky, even though I don't believe in luck. But I believe it's just one of these things that happen. And it's something, it's not just about coaching, it's about life. So, anyway, enough of that. Got to get him up here. Plus the fact that I always, even though he was not wrestling varsity all the time, he did some things in the practice room that nobody else did, maybe because of his height, and he could get away with it, because, he's not 5 foot tall, I don't believe. No, I don't believe you are you? Unless you grew.
My license is 5'2".
But anyway, we're shrinking as we get older, but he's not that old yet. But anyway, even when he was not wrestling varsity, he did some things that he shouldn't have been able to do. And it was because of his leverage and his strength, and most people shoot double legs with your hips under you and everything like that, and come under, and you don't get your feet in front of you too far. But he could, and the moves always worked. When he did that, I said, "Oh, he's going to get thrown on his head," because of his leverage and his size and his strength. So, the bottom line, let's get what I called him all the time when he was wrestling, even when he was a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. I'd always see these things, these crazy things happen. I'd call him the strongest man in the world. And so he proved it to me that he was the strongest man in the world when he won. Because he heard that so many times. And he believed it. And, obviously, it was a famous line that actually people still call him probably the strongest man in the world. But, I don't know, I can't tell. Can I tell you your profession?
Yeah.
You sure? I thought it was a secret. Well, I haven't told you that. I didn't tell. Well,
It's all right. I won't deal with any of these people in here.
well, he's an undercover guy. So don't get out of line. I think he's giving it up. I think you moved up in line now. You don't have to go out and do
He
it.
took my old boss's spot. He's over there.
So I don't think he has to. You have to worry too much. Plus he's not looking, like he said. But how could you disguise that guy? Just knowing he's around, something's going on. But anyway. He's done a great job in his life, and just like what you said, you said a couple things that were really fantastic. I think you said something about a long time ago. You're getting honored for something a long time ago. Not really, because it carries with you forever. And that's why you're a doctorate. You have a doctorate degree, and that's why you're still doing things, because you had all those things that maybe you learned a long time ago, but you take them with you, and that's real crucial. And I think if you didn't take them with you too, you probably wouldn't be here in your job, because you would have been not undercover. Then you're in trouble. Right? Yeah. So anyway, let's bring up the strongest man in the world, Jessie Whitmer.
Okay, I've got a few notes. I was told I have to keep this short to get you guys out of here. I've never been in the heavyweight position, so wake up and don't leave yet. As I look out here, I'm really realizing it's a lot easier to be in front of you guys in a singlet, getting ready to perform, instead of in this, well, I took my suit jacket off, but I didn't bring my singlet today, so you're stuck with me like this. So first of all, I want to thank Coach Gable for the fabulous introduction. Gary, after following those two guys, it kind of reminds me of work. Went in to do a PowerPoint presentation, and there was about 5 of us, and I got this last spot. And after the first couple guys went through, I was thinking, man, my PowerPoint's awesome. It's got all these diagrams and stuff. It's cool as all get out. Gets to the second to last guy, and he gets up there, and his PowerPoint has buttons on it and stuff, and it does all these things that mine does not do. So I got up there, got my PowerPoint going, and it might as well have been done in crayon. And that's how I feel right now. First of all, I'd like to thank the committee for even considering me. It's an unbelievable honor for me. And to be here just associated with the people that have been inducted in the past and the gentleman up here today is a complete honor to me. To me, more than anything, this award is a representation of who in your life has been put in front of you to help you succeed and to give you lasting memories. For starters, I'm blessed with 2 great parents. I remember coming home, learning a new wrestling move every once in a while. I tried to show it on my dad. He'd last about 20 seconds before he turned purple. I'd have to bring in Mom to finish the demo. I had a great set of siblings. I got 2 sisters, 1 brother. They were fantastic. I started wrestling in 7th grade. And right away, I was submerged with some fantastic coaches. I had Jim Neighbors, Dick Messerly, and I had Marv Ryland in the room. He could always show me how to do some really slick stuff. He also taught me what a grown man's perfect head of hair always looked like. Because he could wrestle for hours, and his hair was always the same. And I had Marv as a geometry teacher, and ever since I was in middle school, he's always looked the same. So I'm thinking Marlis has treated him very well. And I actually was hoping she'd be here tonight so I could send my wife over to get pointers from her. Because I've aged horribly. In high school, I ended up having Mike Woodall as a coach my freshman year. Mike was fantastic. As soon as you got off the mat, he'd show you every single thing that was wrong, whether you were bleeding, sweaty, whatever. He didn't care at all. And I moved right into Coach Dave Morgan. I don't know if you guys know Coach Dave Morgan. Fantastic coach. Probably the most intense guy I ever met before I got to Iowa. And little did I know he was just preparing me to wrestle at Iowa. But one thing about Dave, we had him as a coach from my sophomore year through my senior year, and every time we went into a dual meet, we knew full well that our coach could rip off their coach's arms and legs. Probably in a KISS costume, because he used to dress up as Gene Simmons and blow fireballs. So we were pretty certain that we had the coach that could do it. I'll go through a couple memories, and then I'll get you guys out of here. One of the first practices I was at Iowa, I was getting beat up on bottom pretty bad. And one of the things you want is Coach Gable to notice you, and maybe even say something to you. Well, he did notice me, and he said, "Whitmer, we recruited you as a wrestler, not as a mop." I probably don't need to tell you that's not how you want to draw attention to yourself. When I was a senior, Coach Terry Brands was lead full art, and I strength and conditioning coach. So every single morning, we'd get up in the morning and come in, and Coach Brands would put us through a workout. During the time, he would be yelling This is 7 minutes of your entire life. And constantly, when we were going through different workouts, he was reminding me how much of a short period in your life this was. I remember in the semifinals, we'd go off the edge of the mat. I don't even know if he was yelling it, but all I could hear in my head was, "This is 28 seconds of your entire life." Actually, he's in my head right now saying, "This is 10 minutes of your entire life," to get me through this speech. This leads me to Coach Gable. I thought back plenty of times over the last year, and like I told somebody earlier, you could write up something 50 different times and you'd have 50 different speeches up here. But one thing I can say from an investment point of view, I came out way ahead on this. Coach Gable invests every ounce of himself into each one of his wrestlers. Not to be just successful on the mat, but to be a better person in general. He pushes you each day to be the best version of yourself. So when you're done, you would have few regrets. My only regret is you can't bottle this stuff and drink it up when you need some motivation. I cannot express with any written words the amount of gratitude I have for him. Wrestling continues to put me in contact with absolutely fantastic people. Down here, I have the coaches from Clear Creek. Hopefully someday it's going to be one of the top-notch programs. We all have a common goal of getting kids better at wrestling and better at life. I'm pretty sure when they asked me to help years ago, I said, "Put me where I fit in." They placed me with the 3rd and 6th graders because they were my size. You guys being here means the world to me. I'm also fortunate to work with a great group of guys. I'm sure over the years they've heard plenty of my wrestling analogies. And as I get older, they probably heard them more than once, the same ones. I've got my old partner, a good friend of mine, and also my old boss here, Dan Gable. He wrestled for Mason City and Northwestern. There's also some people here that go clear back. When I was a freshman at Iowa, we did wrestling camps. I had a couple of their boys when they were about 9 years old, and we've stayed in contact ever since. And they came down here to sit through this as well tonight. They're fantastic people. And actually, after the national tournament in 1997, to get away from the hustle and bustle, I actually went and had supper with them that night. It was fantastic, and it was great memories for me. In closing, I'd like to thank everyone again. This has been an incredible day for all of us up here. Wrestling, over the years, it's a completely humbling sport. My mom used to tell me all the time, don't get too cocky. There's always someone out there that can kick your butt because she didn't swear. Well, the coaches in my life helped me find those people. And wrestling's still humbling today. We were watching the NCAA championships shortly after Spencer Lee won the title. My son looks at me and he said, "Spencer Lee has 2 national titles. You only have 1. Nobody's going to take that one away from me, Asher. I didn't know whether I should be proud of him because of his math or proud of him that he knew that. Lastly, no, I didn't forget you, hon. She made behind every halfway decent man, you have a fabulous woman. She was a great girlfriend, but she made a better wife. I am pretty sure I've shown her a few good times over the years. Yes, Mom. I'm not going to get too cocky up here. I said a few. I already know there are better husbands out there. I hope she's not looking tonight. Thank you. This has been an incredible experience for me, and you have been incredibly gracious hosts tonight, and I hope you guys enjoyed your time here, and I can't say enough about how much this means to me. The kids kept on asking, "Hey, are you going to get like an award or something?" And I'm like, it doesn't even matter. I'm just happy to be here, and thank you for all that. Thank you.